I choose business ethics.
Welcome back to Faith in Business, the podcast where we take a closer look at businesses through the lens of faith, ethics, and Catholic social teaching. I'm Henry, and today we're diving deep into the biggest company in the world, Amazon.
Wow.
You know Amazon, right? It's like e-commerce titan, a lot of tech, global leader in a lot of industries. But with a giant corporation, there often comes a lot of debate and controversy. So today we're going to look at the practices, the business model, the labor, the marketing, the environmental impact, and we'll explore the questions: does it align with Catholic social teaching? And can we as Christians ethically engage with this company? Today I'm joined by two fantastic co-hosts.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan, and today I'll be delving into Amazon's business model. We're going to look at its pricing strategies, how they've dominated the retail world, and some of the ways Amazon has transformed shopping. But more importantly, we'll discuss the ethical implications of these strategies, especially when it comes to the labor market and smaller businesses.
And I'm Hudson, and I'll be applying Catholic social teaching to Amazon's practices, but we'll explore also how Amazon's actions align or misalign with principles like human dignity, solidarity, and also the common good. I'll also bring in the 6 ethical lenses to assess the broader impact of this company on workers, communities, and the environment.
Sounds like a jam-packed episode. Let's get started.
Can't wait.
So let me just start with an overview of Amazon. Here in my notes, it says that it began as a bookstore in 1994, founded by Jeff Bezos.
I didn't know that.
And it expanded to sell almost everything, as we all know. But today, Amazon is not just the online retailer we know. It's a tech giant with services from cloud computing to entertainment to grocery stores with the Whole Foods type thing.
Right. Amazon's market share on e-commerce sector is staggering. In fact, Amazon accounted for roughly 38% of all e-commerce sales in the U.S. in 2023. Its reach is global. Amazon operates in over 100 countries and is pushing further into areas like healthcare, finance, and even autonomous technology. It's a business that seems to touch every aspect of modern life. But how did they get here? Well, Amazon's success is built on business model focused on convenience, scale, and customer loyalty.
But as we dig deeper today, we'll see that while Amazon provides a tremendous convenience, it does come at a cost both socially and ethically. The question is, are these costs worth the convenience?
So what exactly makes Amazon tick? Let's talk about its business model. At its core, Amazon thrives on massive scalability. They've built one of the world's largest, most efficient supply chains with over 175 fulfillment centers worldwide. Amazon's low price strategy is one of the key components of its success. By offering competitive pricing on a huge range of products, Amazon undercuts traditional retailers and attracts a global customer base.
Yeah, and this pricing strategy is really made possible through Amazon's sheer size and scale. The company can afford that because it dominates the whole market. But there's a catch that comes along with this. Amazon's reliance on all these network of warehouses and services, combined with its low pricing, creates a little pressure on the labor market. In fact, Amazon's low-cost delivery system and product catalog have made it difficult for a lot of small retailers to survive.
And you bring up a good point. That applies to Catholic social teaching. The principle of the common good, it asks us to prioritize policies and practices that benefit all people, not just the powerful or wealthy. So in Amazon's case, its market dominance has pushed out local businesses that once served communities. And this has created a bad environment. As consumers, it's important to ask whether we're sacrificing local economies and community relationships for the sake of cheaper products and fast delivery.
Yeah, so Amazon's marketing strategy is another crucial part of its success. Through personalized recommendations, targeted ads, and Amazon Prime, Amazon makes itself indispensable. The company's algorithms know us better than we know ourselves. They know that we want before we even realize what we want, and they leverage this data to build customer loyalty. But there's something more troubling here, right? The relentless pursuit of consumerism is a big part of Amazon's success.
Completely agree. That's where we run into these issues when we look at Amazon through the lens of another Catholic social teaching principle, human dignity. Are we being treated as individuals with needs, or are we just targets for a constant marketing pressure that just makes the big guns more money? And we look into like privacy concerns and surveillance, and we should ask, is Amazon using its power responsibly, or are they just exploiting us?
Yeah. Okay. Let's bring in Catholic social teaching and assess Amazon practices in relation to the 7 principles. So we've already touched on the common good, but let's dig into the 2 key principles, human dignity and solidarity.
Right. The principle of human dignity tells us that every person has inherent value. This means workers should be treated with fairness and respect. Amazon's labor practices, especially in its fulfillment centers, have been widely criticized. There are reports of grueling conditions, long hours, and low wages, with workers often facing unrealistic productivity quotas. In some cases, workers report being penalized for taking bathroom breaks. This certainly raises questions about whether Amazon respects the human dignity of its employees.
And on solidarity, Amazon's the way they treat their workers doesn't seem to align with the idea that we're all in this together. The company really likes to suppress all the unions, and its reliance on its own workforce leads to an imbalance of power between the leadership and the worker, which points to a lack of solidarity. Instead of building, a community or showing concern for the workers, Amazon prioritizes profits over the well-being of their employees.
And we can't ignore Amazon's impact on smaller businesses, as I touched on earlier. The principle of solidarity would encourage big corporations to work together with communities, fostering an environment where everyone can succeed. But Amazon's competitive pricing and aggressive market strategies have led to the closure of countless local businesses. When one company controls so much of the market, it doesn't allow small businesses to survive. This kind of dominance isn't aligned with the spirit of solidarity.
Couldn't have said it better myself there, but let's look at Amazon through the six ethical lenses, which will help us really know whether Amazon is ethical.
Now, the justice lens looks at fairness and equality. Amazon's labor practices, especially in fulfillment centers, are anything but fair. Many workers face unsafe conditions, long hours, and poor pay. The company's vast wealth and market dominance contrast sharply with the reality of its frontline employees. From a justice perspective, disparity is a serious ethical issue.
Next, the common good lens. As we've discussed, Amazon's business model has a very significant impact on local businesses. While they do deliver low prices and convenience to customers, the company's market power harms smaller businesses. From this lens, it's hard to argue that Amazon contributes to the common good in a meaningful way.
The rights lens asks whether Amazon respects the rights of its workers. And I think there's a real clear violation here. Amazon has faced numerous lawsuits for not providing adequate worker protections, denying bathroom breaks, and retaliating against its employees who seek to unionize. Workers have a right to fair wages, the working conditions, and freedoms, and Amazon doesn't really do that for them.
Now, next, the virtue lens. We look at Amazon's character. There's no question that Amazon has been a trailblazer in tech and retail, but the company's single-minded pursuit of profit can be seen as vice greed. While Amazon promotes itself as innovative and customer-centric, the company's vast wealth and market power seem to overshadow its moral responsibility to care for its workers and communities.
Next is the care lens. The care lens examines how Amazon treats others with compassion and empathy. Unfortunately, Amazon's approach to employee relations and its relationship with smaller businesses show a clear lack of care. The company prioritizes profit over people, and this regard for well-being of workers, consumers, and local communities is very troubling.
Yeah. Lastly, the consequences lens forces us to think about what Amazon's long-term impact will be. The environmental consequences are very significant. The carbon footprint is enormous, and while they've made some turn towards sustainability, their business model is the opposite of sustainability. It's overconsumption and environmental degrading. This is where Amazon has a long way to go in terms of ethical responsibility.
So, what's the verdict? Is Amazon an ethical business? From a Catholic social teaching perspective, Amazon's treatment of workers, its impact on local businesses, and its environmental footprint raise significant ethical concerns. While the company provides incredible convenience and has revolutionized commerce, it falls short in many areas of justice, solidarity, and human dignity.
As Christians, we're called to advocate for justice, care for the poor and marginalized, and make ethical decisions in our consumer habits. Supporting Amazon, knowing the ethical implications, requires careful reflection. We can still use the service, but we have to be mindful of how our actions may support unjust practices.
And that's our take for today. While Amazon is pretty valuable, it's clear that there are a lot of ethical considerations that just can't be ignored. As consumers, we should strive to make better choices that reflect our values. And as Christians, our values don't necessarily align with Amazon.
Thanks for joining us today in Faith in Business. Next time, we'll continue our journey through the world of business and discuss a new business that we need to dive into. Until then, take care.
We'll see you.